Hello, everybody. This is Ryan Koki of the Seahawks Recap Show, and welcome to the regular season finale, the Cardinals versus Seahawks for Week 18, and that's it for the regular season. And now it's time for playoffs. Sadly, we did end up winning this game. However, it doesn't really matter because the Seahawks are not going to the 2023-2024 playoffs. And man, it's a great win. I'll take the win. 9-8 record, but the Packers beat the Bears and take the 7th seed in the NFC. So it was really a mute point, but glad we got the win. And before we start this recap, there are going to be some big things coming this week and next throughout the rest of the season. I will be doing a playoff recap for you guys, even though the Seahawks are out. So stay tuned for that and hit the subscribe button so you don't miss out on that type of content. Anyways, enough of me rambling. Let's get in to this week's recap, shall we? And it was a lot closer than I would have liked, but the Seahawks make out the win on the road with a 21-20 win over the Cardinals. Let's start off with the Cardinals stats first. So the Cardinals had 466 total yards, 260 passing yards, 206 rushing yards, averaged 6.8 yards per play, 24 first downs. They went 5 for 13 on third down. They went 2 for 2 on fourth down, had 69 total plays, 1 sack allowed, 3 punts, 5 penalties for 27 yards given up, 0 fumbles lost, 0 interceptions thrown, and they had 36 minutes and 3 seconds of possession time. For your Seattle Seahawks, we had 327 total yards, 189 passing yards, 138 rushing yards, 6.2 yards per play, 18 first downs. We went 6 for 12 on third down. We didn't go for it on fourth down. We had 53 total plays, 0 sacks, 5 punts, 0 penalties. That is amazing. So that was a very disciplined game for the final game of the regular season. So I'm happy with that. We had 0 fumbles lost, 0 interceptions thrown, and 23 minutes and 57 seconds of possession time. For Ryan's focus players, let's talk about the Cardinals for a second, and let's talk about Kyler Murray. He went 22 for 30, had 262 yards, 1 touchdown, 0 interceptions, and honestly, Kyler Murray has played great with the Cardinals over the last little bit, and this game is no different. 262 passing yards. He was really good in the pocket today, and his sense of being able to get out of pressure as well with every type of running quarterback, dual threat quarterback that you see in the NFL, your ideal sense of when to run when the pocket is collapsing. He got out of some tight binds in this game, and it really showed that he is a prolific runner and passer of the football. So good game from Kyler Murray, but for my opinion, the star of the show was running back James Conner, 27 carries, 150 yards, averaged 5.6 yards per carry, 1 touchdown. James Conner, just a beast. He was a beast on the Steelers. I really liked him on the Steelers. He moves to the Cardinals and gets, I believe, if I'm wrong, please correct me, but I believe that's his first 1,000-yard rushing season in his career. Congrats to him. It was great to see. Wish you didn't get it against the Seahawks, but what are you going to do? Just a very solid game from James Conner. His run ability with the amount of power he exerts, with the amount of time he puts in, 150 yards is no short feat against any team in the NFL for a running back. So good game from him. And we get to wide receiver Michael Wilson, 6 receptions, 95 yards, averaged 15.8 yards per reception, 0 touchdowns. But this guy on the broadcast, they were talking about Micah Wilson, and they were saying, he could be a number one starter for the Cardinals next season. And, with new head coach in there in John Gannon, the former offensive coordinator for the Eagles, it's really nice to see these guys trying to build a culture and, give them a little bit more star power on this team. And I think this offense could really do some damage. But let's talk about the Seahawks and let's talk about Geno Smith for a second. 16 for 28, 189 for passing yards, 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. Again, another game managing game for him, and that's what Geno is, a game manager. He's there to help his team win, and he did exactly that in this game. Nothing more, nothing less. Decent game from Geno. Would have liked to see his passing yards a little bit up. He did make a couple of mistakes where the pocket was collapsing, and I remember one play, I believe it was in the second quarter or the third quarter, where he was in a scramble drill, threw the ball, and it just went on DK Metcalf's hands, and it was just thrown a little bit behind him, and DK couldn't grab the ball in time. Those are kind of the plays where you're expecting Geno and DK to be on the same page, but what you gonna do? Still got 2 touchdowns, still got the win, so nice game from Geno Smith, all things considered. Let's talk about the running back, Kenneth Walker, 17 carries, 78 yards, averaged 4.6 yards per carry, 0 touchdowns. Kenneth Walker, man, I'm his number one fan. I will defend this man. I really like him as a player. His ability to see the holes in the offensive line that he's supposed to run through and then quickly change direction when it closes is just something I really love about him. He's done that all year long. And I hope in 2024, 2025, that, even with his oblique injury that he suffered this year, he can come back even stronger and keep on trucking in his career, because I really like him as a Seattle Seahawk, and he did really well this game. Next up, let's talk about the old reliable wide receiver, Tyler Lockett, another guy I really, really like and wish him nothing but the best in a Seahawks uniform. 2 receptions, 71 yards, averaged 35.5 yards per reception, and had the 1 touchdown, and that was the game winning touchdown. He also had the 2-point conversion to put us up by a point and win us that game. Just a solid, reliable target for Geno. And looking at the stats for this game, when you look at the way that Geno was throwing the ball around, nobody, I believe, had over 3 receptions in this game. So picking a wide receiver, I just picked Tyler Lockett because he's a very reliable wide receiver and he got us the game winner. So good game from Tyler Lockett. Now, let's start off with the Cardinals defense, and let's talk about the lineman DT. Naquan Jones, 2 solo tackles, 3 assisted, 0 sacks, 0 forced fumbles. But one thing that surprised me about Naquan Jones was that when, I believe, again, this was in the third quarter, when Kenneth Walker wanted to run, there was a designed run where he was supposed to get the pitch and he was supposed to run for massive yardage, but the whole offensive line collapsed and Jones was right there to bury Kenneth Walker. And those are the type of players that you want. You want guys on your team, especially in a rebuilding year, to show up and make big plays. And I think Jones is a big DT and will stay on this team for years to come and hopefully bring that D line some good starter depth. Let's talk about the safety, Buda Baker, one of the cornerstones of this Cardinals defense. 8 solo tackles, 2 assisted, 0 sacks, 0 interceptions. But man, Buda Baker was everywhere in this game. Another tackling machine. And he's laid some pretty big hits. He laid one on Geno when he was doing the quarterback sneak, and these are the kind of hits that you're looking at, and you're looking at Buda Baker, and you're saying, yeah, that's a safety that we can build around. That's a safety that we could keep and build for the future. He's perfect for a rebuild because you already got that safety position locked up at least on one of those ends. He's a strong safety, so you just need to find out your free safety, and you should be good. And Buda Baker is a leader on this team, so having that sense of reliability, having that mentorship will help whoever is lined up beside him on his opposite side. So good game from Buda Baker. And next, we got the linebacker, Zane Collins, 3 solo tackles, 0 assisted, 0 sacks, 0 interceptions. But another guy that's been around there for a bit. And in a rebuilding year, Zane Collins will be a guy on the linebacking front that'll be a mentor for newer guys coming in, building a culture. You need some of these guys. And Zane Collins, again, he was in there on a lot of these rushes and he was trying to get to the quarterback, and he's very good at getting to Gino, and he's very good at getting to opposing quarterbacks. So and stopping the run too. When he's blitzing you, you better watch out and you better be able to hold your block, because I believe Collins will just run through it. And that's why he got 3 solo tackles, because in the run game, he was stopping Kenneth Walker. He was in on some of the Zach Charbonnet tackles for loss. It was really nice to see, and it was a good game from the linebacker of Collins. But let's get to the Seahawks defense, and let's talk about Leonard Williams off the edge. And I talk about him a lot now. Ever since getting him, he is the guy to go to. 2 solo tackles, 5 assisted, 0 sacks, 0 forced fumbles. But again, a guy that in a time where pass rush is very, very scarce, he's a guy that's a very big motivator. He's a guy that's always there on every play, and he deserves it for his effort in this game. Putting up some pretty good numbers in the tackling department, tackling James Conner, which is not an easy thing to do, trying to, get pressure wherever he can. And you could see the effort of Leonard Williams. So I hope he is a Seahawk next year. Speaking of effort, I'm going to talk about DB Devin Witherspoon. This young corner is just a menace. 7 solo tackles, 4 assisted, 0 sacks, 0 interceptions. But again, just the amount of effort. You're looking at someone who's what, 100, and I don't remember actually Devin Witherspoon's weight, but he's like 100 something pounds. He's on the bigger side, but you're not expecting this type of tackling from a rookie, let alone a rookie corner. And looking at his 7 solo tackles, he had a plan there where he grabbed James Conner, lifted him up, and threw him to the ground just so that he could get a tackle for loss. That is the type of effort we want to see on the Seahawks. That's the type of effort we want going forward from every player on defense. And, Devin Witherspoon really has shown that he's a very physical corner, and I hope his future will look bright for the Seahawks along with Woolen and company. We're getting to linebacker, and it's Devin Bush. I gave it to him because he had 5 solo tackles, 1 assisted, 0 sacks, 0 interceptions. And I hope to see more of Devin Bush in the future. I hope to see him next season taking a big step forward, because he's been pretty decent when he's on the field for the Seahawks. He's been given the shot to, I believe, really put in the work and show that he can put in the work when he needs to come in for an injury to Jordan Brooks. He can. When he needs to step up, when he needs to show what he can still do that. And that's some massive effort. And that's what we need on this Seahawks team, is just effort. We need guys that want to win. And I think Devin Bush, if we keep him this offseason, will want to win. So keep it up, Devin Bush. That was a really good game from you. But let's get to Ryan's final thoughts and what went well. Close out the year with a win. That's always nice to see. And with Tyler Lockett securing the game-winning touchdown and the 2-point conversion, that is just perfect. Sadly, it just didn't matter. I wish it mattered more, but we had lost that playoff spot after the Packers had won. We also had no penalties in the entire game. So that's a first, considering we are one of the most penalized teams in the NFL. So good end off to the year. Control what you can't control, and we did. We won the game. Just wish it would have resulted in a playoff berth. What to improve on? This defense, man, just loves to blow coverages and not know how to tackle on one-on-one matchup. Trey McBride on some of his screens that he did, not wrapping up on tackles when Kyler Murray was forced out of the pocket when he ran for about 15 yards. It's just one of those things where you're seeing the coverage of these guys get exploited. There's patches in the zone, middle of the field, wide open patches for Trey McBride and company. It's just insane to see. Michael Wilson had a couple of times in there where he broke coverage and got in there for good gains. And speaking of the one-on-one matchups, let's talk about Jordan Brooks and James Conner. In I believe the fourth quarter, Kyler Murray threw the ball behind the line of scrimmage. It's a 2-yard loss if Jordan Brooks can make that tackle. All James Conner has to do is fake out Jordan Brooks and he'll get 15 yards. And what does he do? He's able to fake out Jordan Brooks with a nice little fake move and stiff arm him. Not even finish the full stiff arm, just stiff arm him, and Jordan Brooks falls to the ground, and nobody's there to wrap up. That is the problem with the tackling. That's the problem with the team defense. And it's been showing its ugly head for the second game in a row where we allow 200 plus rushing yards. It's like the Steelers game all over again. And, it's not good. It's really not good. That defense needs to be fixed. That defense needs to know how to tackle. My final thoughts. A 9-8 record was not good enough this year to get us into the playoffs. Honestly, I don't know what's going to happen in the offseason, but I know a lot of Seahawks fans are wanting a big coaching overhaul. They want to fire Pete. They want to fire Shane Waldron. They want to fire Clint Hurt. For me, I don't think it'll go that far. I don't think Pete's getting fired. I know a lot of people want Pete to get fired right now, but I'm not one of them, honestly. Name me a coach that you would like to see in our outfit, because right now I'm thinking of maybe a couple of names, but there's not much out there. Like, do you want Dan Quinn in your head coaching spot? I don't think so. He's already been a head coach once. Do you want Eric Bieniemy in your head coaching spot? I don't think so. I think the Commanders are going to use him. Like, who do you want at the head coaching spot? Who do you want? Because I want some names. But for the Cardinals, congrats to the Cardinals all season long. You guys have really surprised me. Despite what your record may show at 4-13, I believe you guys ended off the season. You guys really put up some surprising victories. Beating the Eagles last week was a really surprising victory, and that shows that you guys are having fun in football. For the first time in many years, you guys look like a cohesive unit, and I can't wait to see, once you get talent on that roster, what this team will become, because it'll be so fun. If this is what you could do with basically no talent on your roster, some guys that are unproven, then I can't wait to see what happens for you guys next year. Anyways, that is it for the season finale of Seahawks game recaps. I hope you enjoyed. Please hit like, please hit subscribe if you really liked it, and share with all your Seahawks friends and family if you would like to see any more future content. I will be here for the remainder of the playoffs. I will have playoff game recaps for you guys out as soon as I possibly can, and there is more off-season content coming in the future. This is Ryan Koki of the Seahawks Recap Show signing off. Go Hawks go, and I will see you guys in 2024, 2025 for the start of that next season. And let's see what we can do in the off season.